Welcome back. We now understand why Cruz was included in the Chicago Fire Season 12 Episode 2 trailer, despite the episode being titled after Mouch. McMaster, I apologize, I just can't. Cruz is set on fire by Mouch's will to die a hero and be remembered as a superb firefighter instead of the half-couch, half-man he has been known for. This is especially true after Severide offers him a railing. That was the dominant narrative in Call Me McHolland. Cruz has been a member of 51 for a very long period, and it makes sense for him to pass the lieutenant's exam. He deserves this distinction. However, it's not the best idea to move forward just because he's not happy with his command. In Season 11 of Chicago Fire, Cruz found it difficult to transition into a leadership role. It took him some time to find his groove, and he was honest about it. Now that Severide has returned, Cruz no longer respects his authority. What are the chances that he's prepared to lead his own unit if that's how he feels? The trailer made it sound so tragic that he was being driven away just by his rage. Though I'm not sure it makes the most sense at this moment, it's much more complex than that. It was foolish to pursue that drone. Cruz lost control and allowed other factors, such as his friendship with Javi and his desire to convince Severide that he was capable, to drive him. Stella attempted to reach a consensus with Severide and Cruz as she went along, but it doesn't appear that there is a simple way to resolve this issue. Severide's defensive and clumsy apologies made Cruz even less inclined to believe him in the future. While it was inappropriate for Cruz to give Cap an order without waiting for one, Severide was incorrect to overlook the fact that Cruz stood up for him. What then becomes of them? Currently at a standstill. With Mouch, things worked out better, and the nickname McHolland, which, let's face it, sounded really fantastic with an Irish brogue, was dropped at the end of the show. Mouch feels rejuvenated, but after being taken aback to discover the significance of his moniker, he ought to have realized that it's more of an affectionate term and an integral part of who he is than how the name originated. However, the matter was resolved by Bowden's words. Mouch isn't likely to have a new pillow stitched up anytime soon, but he's also not letting go of all the amazing things the half-man, half-couch brought to the table. How many times will one of their own take care of their medical concerns on their own, acting as though they've never realized how important emergency services are? Has anyone had an injury at work and, at their teammates' adamant insistence, sought medical attention before it was nearly too late? Given what Herman had been through with Cindy, it defies logic that he would think about abandoning her and the family for even a brief period of time without money. And the longer he delayed getting his hearing examined, the more likely it was that serious harm would have resulted. Advice for the authors: a narrative isn't necessarily novel just because a certain character hasn't experienced it before. I hope that this is the last time someone is hurt at work and decides they don't need assistance since they are stronger than mortal men, but I'm afraid that won't happen, which is mentally taxing. He's going to kill himself or somebody else. The Chicago Fire, with Herman and Mouch, made me feel old. This job puts my death in jeopardy, and I won't benefit from ignoring the doctor, but I don't have the life of anyone else in my hands. When Ritter attempted to force Herman to seek assistance, he failed to mention that to him. In their line of work, putting oneself first is not an option, especially when your team is depending on you. Herman is aware of it, of course, but fear is an absurd emotion. My issue is that, despite risking their lives to protect others, these firefighters all seem to be motivated by fear. It doesn't make much sense unless we assume that it has to do with their inability to control the circumstances when they are hurt, as opposed to protecting someone else from harm. As it turned out, Herman was unable to hear what was going on during the subsequent call, which put Kylie in danger. He could have caused significant trouble for the entire unit if it weren't for Mouch. The first thought that crossed my mind when I saw all those bikes on fire was that if they had been electric bikes, they would have all perished. Have you noticed how frequently those gadgets' batteries catch fire? They are also difficult to distinguish. Luckily, it was just regular bicycles. But to return to Herman, what was it that sent him to the doctor and, at last, set him straight? Was it Ritter's insistence that he do it, or was it nearly putting the unit in danger? In any case, the news wasn't good, and if I were the one receiving it, I would hold myself accountable for delaying my visit. They did not address whether it would have made a difference to address the problem sooner, but it is concerning that it is not going away. For more, subscribe.